Did you know that when LucasArts was first founded in 1982, the studio was not allowed to make games based on the company's biggest IP, Star Wars? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 63. My name's Gareth Briley. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left, back from the dead, Mr. James Burks.
Hello.
How are you doing, James?
It's good to be back.
Good to be back.
Sorted out the contract issues.
Yeah.
I'm back on the team.
He's back. James wasn't with us last week. On the last minute, he, as he said, contract issues. His agent told him to leave, so he couldn't come on. Richard came in on a Bosman free.
I heard what you were getting per episode. I thought, I'm not having that.
No. And on my virtual right is Mr. Richard Dobson. Hey, Richard.
Hello. I didn't realise people were getting paid per episode,
Well, yeah.
so I might have to have a word with my,
You
guy.
need the right agent. Here we are. We're in week 2 of lockdown, part 3, season 3. It's a long month, January, isn't it? God, it's only the 14th, isn't it? Wow.
I don't know what day it is, or what week, or what year.
No.
It all just blends into one thing now.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And
With a bit of sleep.
There's not that many games out yet. It's going to get a little bit better, but it's a bit. We'll talk about that. But it's hard. It's hard. But what have we been doing this week, James? What have you been up to?
Well, I was going to catch up on the new season of Cobra Kai. But I started it. I couldn't really get into it. I'm not sure why.
Right.
And then Netflix actually spoiled some of the major plot points on Twitter, so I just gave up with that one. But instead, ended up watching a TV series again on Netflix about a team of superpowered people that hunt down evil spirits. Called the Uncanny Counter. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Is this Korean by any chance?
Damn. You caught me already.
James has got a love of Korean culture and Korean films and music, and if you've not listened before, and I think this is another one, isn't it, James?
It is, but it's addictive. I've watched 12 episodes in a week.
Wow.
And they're an hour long. Because it's broadcasting at the same time in Korea as it's getting released on Netflix. So I'll get some more episodes this weekend, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's action packed, and you really get to know the characters, because there's something about Korean dramas where they have so many facets to the storytelling that you'll laugh, you might even shed a tear. But I think because it's got evil spirits in, it's mainly you're going to watch it for the action and the killings. But yeah, it's really good to watch. I would highly recommend it. If you're into that kind of thing.
The Uncanny Counter on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I might give that a go. What about you, Richard? What have you been doing?
We've with lockdown happening again, we've been having a bit of a premature spring clean. So we've gone under the beds and pulled out all the storage boxes that we've got full of old DVDs, and we've sorted through them with a big pile of stuff that's already going to the charity shop, and then the stuff that we're going to watch before sending off to the charity shop one more time. So we've been watching some of those this week. We had a bit of a Will Smith block. We watched Hancock and I Am Legend. Then we also watched Minority Report, which I'd not seen for a long, long time, but is probably in my top 5 films. That one, and then we've counterbalanced that with Spice World as well this week.
Wow. Did we talk about Spice World before? So I think it came on this podcast. Someone else maybe talked about it.
I don't think anyone else has seen it. It must have been Richard.
Just Richard. He's brought it up before.
Yeah.
Now, Hancock. I really liked Hancock.
Yeah,
I think it's quite a nice premise.
I think it's a really, really good idea. I don't think it was so well executed back then. If they'd have made it now, I think it would have fared a lot better. And as I was watching that, I was like, God, this is a really, really good idea for a film.
Good idea for TV series as well, I think.
Yeah, probably is now, yeah. Because it did feel rushed.
Yeah.
I think Hancock was about an hour and a half, and you're just like, God, is that it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, both, I think they're arguably a little bit underrated, both of those films.
Yeah. I liked I Am Legend as well. You didn't like that, James?
No, I thought it was really good, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's just so unbelievable in that anything could happen to the world, like a major virus that could take everyone down. It's nice to escape. So from that.
So true. Now I've been watching loads of stuff actually. Cobra Kai, I'm sort of like on episode 6 or 7 of that in the new season. Cobra Kai is interesting because it's I spoke to an old friend of mine and we kind of like it because it's nostalgic and there's some great bits in it, but it crosses it's on a fine line between terrible and great. And it's always balancing there too. But yeah, but the other thing I've been watching is A History of Swearing, I think it's called, on Netflix. It was hosted by Nic Cage. And every episode, he examines a swear word, a famous one, and then they get interviews with comedians who talk about it and other professors and where the word come from. It's really good. Well, what it reminded me about, I'm a massive fan of Nic Cage. Are you two a fan of his?
I kind of am.
Yeah.
But I call him Nicolas Cage.
Ah.
I don't know him as well as you.
Oh yeah, no, I know him very well.
I saw his advertised.
Close friend.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at the swear words you've chosen. Didn't you choose damn as one of them?
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, and so I use it all the time.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah.
I'm a right swearer.
You are. Yeah.
What else was there?
I'm not going to go through
Why not?
Oh, dear me. But Nicolas Cage. Richard, you a fan? I like to call him Nick.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I've not really seen that much of his work. I mean, I love Con Air, but not for all the good reasons. It's one of those films that it's so bad it's good sort of thing. But I can't really think of any other Nicolas Cage films that I've seen.
I mean, the thing about him is he's been going since the 80s. You know, he started off doing Peggy Sue Got Married and films like Birdie he's in, which was this 1984 about Vietnam, amazing kind of Alan Parker film. And then he did a sort of 1990 film called Wild at Heart. Yeah, I mean, he did loads of... he's always seemed to be playing... Yeah, and then Face Off. And then he had this Con Air, The Rock, Face Off that he went into action movies in the 90s. As well as like marrying it with things like Leaving Las Vegas, which he was nominated for an Oscar about alcoholism, you know. And then he's always done... And in the last few years, he's been doing any old film, I think, because the rumour is for tax reasons, to try to pay off a tax bill. So he just did everything. But every now and again, you might have 9 mad Nicolas Cage films, then you have one brilliant one. Like some of the horrors he's done, like Mandy and oh god, there's another one that came out. But what's really interesting about Nick is really good seeing him present something and just chatting, because he's just been brilliantly batty and really interesting. I thought I'd love to see a theatre show with Nicolas Cage, like a night with Nicolas Cage just doing monologues, because he is an amazing performer.
For the right price, I'm sure he'll do it.
I think he'll do it, yeah. I think
I've
any
worried.
West End show should get him. But there's a really interesting thing from I read an interview with the director when they said the great thing about working with him, and this is where you get these montages of Nic Cage being this kind of like, you get loads of clips. There's a montage I've got of an 8-minute clip to music of Nicolas Cage doing mad stuff on film. It's brilliant online, and when you direct something, you do takes, like you said, different takes. You might do 5 to 10 takes on something, and that's maybe to do with a number of different reasons. It might be to do with trying to get a better performance, but generally it's a technical thing as well. Something needs to be in the right place, lighting needs to be right. But they say with Nicolas Cage, and generally performers, when they do stuff, they just repeat what the director wants, and they might repeat it the same way every time. Mm-hmm. But they said Nicolas Cage gives every take he does it in a completely different way. So you might have a line like "hi," and then the next take he might go "hi." It might be as bad as that. And they said it's amazing because you've got all these choices, but that's why you get all these amazing kind of things that he does, and you have them in films because they have this kind of choice of like really interesting stuff, and like sometimes it can be too much. But I like it. I like a showy performer.
It's definitely unusual.
Yes.
But he has done some brilliant films.
Yeah.
Not too many recently.
No.
But like I say,
but there's a horror called Mandy that's amazing. That's amazing.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's really scary. You can't see it, James. You can't see it.
Okay. That's fair enough.
That's good. So Nicolas Cage. Well, we need Nicolas Cage in a game. Why isn't a game got Nicolas Cage in it? That's what you want. I'm going to fight for that as well. He needs to be starring in a game. So what games have we been playing at the moment? It's a strange kind of week. There's a few indie stuff we've been reviewing for the site. Richard, what have you been playing?
I've just put a review out for a puzzle game called The Pillar Puzzle Escape that came out yesterday, or maybe today. One of those two.
Yesterday.
Thank you, James.
No worries.
And it's a decent little puzzler. It's done in first person, so it's remind me a lot of The Witness and Myst. You're traveling through this world, trying to solve these puzzles that appear on the walls and on these crystal pillars that come up from the ground. All sort of like grid-based line puzzles where you need to connect one dot to another dot without intersecting lines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like The Witness is very like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Similar sort of premise, and it looks quite similar as well in the same colour scheme, really. But that was fine. I think I gave it 3 stars because it's quite short. I think it was 2 or 3 hours, and I'd finished everything. But it was a nice little few hours with it. Enjoyed that.
Okay, good. That's it, isn't it? That's what you got to say.
That's all I've got to say on. Yeah, it's true. There's no story or anything like that.
I don't know why I was expecting anything more. Okay, James, what about you?
Don't worry, I can do it quicker.
Oh my word!
I haven't played many games, probably all year. But this week or last week, I played Toyco. It's a cat cafe simulation. Stay with me. It gets better. Basically, you take over a rundown cat cafe, and you have to entice nearby animals to come and live in your cat cafe, to then entice the villagers.
I like this already.
Well, yeah, I thought it'd be quite cool, to be fair, and relaxing. But you don't really spend that much time in the cat cafe. You end up going out, getting quests, and fetching stuff for everyone. Like, go over here, do this, take this to such and such. And the cat cafe kind of it's just there. You don't really do anything. You don't really make any money off it. You get more money by doing quests.
Right.
Outside the cafe.
Well, what did you expect to do in this cat cafe sim game?
I wanted to take orders and get the money and put it in the town.
Basically,
a business.
We just wanted to run a business. Yeah.
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 But instead, what, Richard?
Sorry, no, is it just cats that you can sort of collect?
Well, no.
Or is it other animals as well?
No. If you go around the Toyco world, you can get dogs.
Now we're talking.
Foxes. I think I saw a pigeon.
How are they all getting on in the cafe?
A polar bear.
A polar bear?
Yeah. It's wild. A horse. I think.
Is there a robin? Because weren't you in the cafe with a robin once?
I was. And that was before lockdown. I think that might have had something to do with it.
Is this the inspiration for Calico?
Yeah. I mean, it might possibly be. No, no robins. What else was there? You get a capybara. Australian animal.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. Anyway, they were all in my cafe.
Right.
And you can make them bigger. The potions. They've got massive cats and massive dogs. Inside my cafe. And no one comes in. It's a waste of time.
Wow.
On a serious note now, it looks really bad. It looks unfinished. And it's not really that good. So I gave it a 2.5.
Okay.
I was quite generous. If you want to find out more, read the review.
Yeah, exactly.
I've told you all the best bits.
Yeah. Amazing. I've been playing, which is a review that's come up today, Jet Cave Adventure, which I think is out today. It's the 15th, is it? Or the 14th? No, it's 14th. Maybe it's out tomorrow. And Jet Cave Adventure is a platformer, and you play this caveman from prehistoric times. An alien ship comes down, and it breaks down, and it's going to destroy the world by using lava or something. But you find the jetpack, so you're basically a caveman with a jetpack, bouncing around like as a platformer. So it's very much like a Donkey Kong Country type platformer. And it's a game that when I first started playing it, I was like, oh, this is 1995 all over again. But I really enjoyed it. They do it very well. And the jetpack has a great kind of thing of, you can thrust all up, down quickly, you can get through objects. It has a kind of it really plays with the kind of platform dynamics, makes it kind of unique and interesting. There's boss battles that are okay. I mean, it's really good fun. It's a good fun platformer. So if you like a bit of Donkey Kong Country or any kind of game like that, old-fashioned platformer, yeah. And if you don't like it, you're never going to get it. If you're dying for a bit of that, you can get a bit of Jet Cave Adventure, which I enjoyed. Richard, what else have you got?
Another game that came out towards the back end of last year that I'd been playing was Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is a rhythm music game based on the Kingdom Hearts franchise. That if anyone's ever played Theater Rhythm from Final Fantasy on the Nintendo 3DS, I think it was, is very similar to that. Almost identical, except instead of Final Fantasy music, it's Kingdom Hearts music now. So I've been playing that on my PS4. Now, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 came out 2 years ago now. And I reviewed it for the site, and I was quite harsh because it had been a game I'd been looking forward to for so long that by the time it came out, I just had no clue as to what the plot was. So this Melody of Memory tries to digest the entire Kingdom Hearts plot into 36 little videos. But even after watching about half of them, because I've not unlocked them all so far, but I've watched about half of them, it's still an incredibly convoluted plot that I really don't understand what's going on in those games.
Right. And
But
you don't understand it, so we're never going to understand it.
No, I mean, I think the problem was that the first game came out and it was quite an easy plot to understand, but then subsequent games, I think the original came out on PS2. Other games released, I think one might have been on the Game Boy Advance. The sequel to that might have been on the Game Boy Advance, and then other prequels have appeared on other handheld consoles. But they're all so integral to the plot that at the time I completely missed them. So when it came to Kingdom Hearts 2, the sequel on PlayStation 2 as well, I was just like, what's going on? I have no idea. Why isn't everyone where they were when the first game ended? And then that just got 10 times worse when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. But I think it tries to do a good job of digesting it, but it's a plot that's gone all over the place in the 20 years it's been out, and it struggles.
And what's this on, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory?
It's on everything, yeah.
Is
It's
it?
on PS4, Xbox, and it's on Switch, yeah. It's the first Kingdom Hearts game to release on the Switch.
Wow.
But as a music rhythm game, it's very good. You've got you're using a lot of the face buttons and the back buttons on the higher difficulties as well, so it does get quite challenging.
Okay.
But the music, obviously, the music's really good. If you like the music from Kingdom Hearts, it's definitely worth a look.
I was going to say, have you got any songs that we might know?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's got some of the songs from like Little Mermaid and
Under the Sea.
Yeah, it's got Under the Sea. Part of My World, I think, is on there.
Hang on, let me run by it now. I think it died.
It's got Let It Go, obviously, because Frozen was a world in Kingdom Hearts 3, so that has to be in there, unfortunately. But a lot of the music is what they created for the games, as opposed to songs from the films that the game's based on.
Wow. Good.
I like that now.
Write that down. James, you got any other games that you're playing?
I've got loads of games, just haven't played them.
Play games. That's what you got to do. That's your job for next week.
I've played one. I can't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Neil will kill me.
Okay, fine. I'm going to do 2 more quick games. I'm going to do a game that I've played called A Child's Light. I think I've got that right.
Child's Sight.
A Child's Sight. That's good. A Child's Light doesn't make any sense.
I don't need to play games. I hope you play them. Work out what they are.
Decipher my terrible code.
I mean, Copilot.
Yeah. In this one, you play a baby in a crib, right? And
I'm listening.
That's the premise.
That's the premise. And basically, you've got... So imagine this is the first level. You've got like it's pretty dark. It's nighttime. You've got a carousel on your left-hand side, right? That you've got to keep turning. So it will go on for a bit, and then you've got to switch it on again. Then, if you've got the light, you can stand up and switch the light on. If you've got the light on, a creature from the cupboard won't come out and kill you, right? But if someone knocks at the door, you've got to switch the light off, or someone else is going to come in from the door to kill you. So basically, you're plate spinning. You're trying to basically keep the thing on there, switch the light on and off, and try to press a B button to get yourself to sleep before the timer runs out.
So this is a baby simulation.
It's kind of like that, yeah. It's about a terrifying one, an absolute terrifying
a baby.
one. Yeah, I know, that's what I said. Yeah. And then as you go to the next chapter, you've got more things to do. So by you get to the next one, an extra bit is there's a rocking chair, and if the rocking chair starts going, you've got to grab one of your toys for comfort. But if you've got the toy for comfort, you can't stand up and switch the light off. Oh, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Yeah. So my review for that would be out next week. So look for that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And the other one, I've started Immortals Phoenix Rising at last.
Yes.
A let's play of it yesterday, so it should be out this weekend. Which Richard loves, and Neil loves, who's the other Xbox Hub main person. And and I really enjoyed it. It's really good fun, isn't it? It's really hard to play from Assassins into Immortals straight away. You almost need a little cleanser in between. Because obviously it's got the same kind of systems a little bit, but it's a completely different feel to it. And it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's great fun. What did you give it, Richard?
I only gave it 4 stars. And that was after, I think I played that for about 20 hours. Okay. But I'm now double that. And I'm just about to do the final stretch. And it's only gotten better. If I'd have had the chance to review it after 40 hours, I might have even gone to 5 stars with it.
Yeah.
I do feel a bit bad about giving it 4 stars.
The humour's great. The kind of gameplay's great. The puzzle stuff's really good fun. It's great. It's a really good fun game. But that's enough about games. Let's talk about news. Now, news is getting a bit busier. But not as... Well, a little bit, yeah. I mean, we've had some...
The listeners can decide.
They can. But first of all, we're going to go straight into... I want to discuss something with you two. Sony had what's it called? CES. They released their sort of like games coming out, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
What's the thing they called? CES 2021. There's lots of tech stuff in there. And they confirmed some of their games coming out for 2021. Not the big ones, but there's a few ones in there. We had... let me have a quick look. We knew that Kenya, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, that's coming out in March. So they've got that and Returnal in March. The Little Devil Inside, which is his great indie game, which I think is coming to Xbox as well, but I think maybe PlayStation first. So it's coming out in June. Solar Ash is coming out for July. Stray is also...
is it the one with the cat?
Yeah, Stray and Ghostwire Tokyo are both scheduled for October 2021. They both look great.
Yep.
Yeah, I like both of them.
And Project Athia, which I really liked, which is the Square Enix's thing. It looks really... the visuals look great. That's coming out in January 2022.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, no, I think I'm the only one who like the look of it. And then we knew the Pragmata, the Capcom, which we all thought was Death Stranding 2.
Very bizarre.
Yeah, won't arrive till 2023, which is honestly
2023.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That'd be great.
That didn't look like anything was planned with that. It's just mad trailers. Like that's what reminded us.
That's all they had.
Yes.
A trailer.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
And of course, within that, they've got this year still. They've got Ratchet and Clank, Gran Turismo, Horizon, and God of War 2. It's still in their heads for 2021.
God of War 2.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic.
Now, I'm worried, you two. PlayStation have laid down their kind of like, we've got stuff coming out. March.
Yeah.
What have we got for Xbox? What do we know? See me wrong.
Game Pass.
We have got Game Pass, yeah.
The Medium.
We've got the Medium is our first big one, isn't it? In 28th of January this month. What's after that?
If all those come out for PS5 in 2021, that's a big year.
It's a massive year, isn't it?
It's huge.
Halo Infinite still on track.
Yeah.
Supposedly. But yeah, I reckon that's going to be Q4 now.
Yeah.
I don't think of anymore. They're Xbox exclusive. Or Xbox first.
There's 12 minutes, isn't it, the indie game? That's an Xbox timed exclusive, I think. So that might come out soon-ish. Maybe. But there isn't a big one, is there? There isn't another big one we know of.
What? Balan Wonderworld. Was that exclusive or not?
I don't think it was.
Maybe it was. The exclusive reveal.
It's not first party anyway, is it?
No.
It's exclusive or not.
Yeah, I don't know what you think. I just think PlayStation maybe needs to come and chat about what maybe they will. Maybe they're going to reveal some stuff in Feb.
They've got nothing to show us.
I suspect because that article that's on our list still states Horizon and Ratchet and Clank is 2021.
Yeah,
I suspect God of War is going to get delayed.
Yeah, I think God of War. I think Horizon will happen. probably in October, November time. But yeah, I think
Ratchet and Clank's supposed to be middle of this year, I believe.
And I think Gran Turismo will probably be there, I think.
Yeah. Well, we even got Forza, haven't we?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Forza. God, yeah. Maybe they're holding on. Maybe there's all gonna be in the last quarter. Maybe it's gonna be an Xbox. But they need to keep that interest up, don't they? Maybe they don't.
Give us something.
Yeah.
Need to give us something to bite onto. A carrot.
Yes.
To dangle.
Yes, exactly.
And go, this is what's coming.
Yeah.
Hang on, guys. We've got this.
We got this. The future's bright. Good. Now the other thing I'm gonna give it to you two guys now for the next bit of news because you know more about this than me. Pokemon. Talk to me about what's going on in the Pokemon world.
Do you want me to, Richard, or you?
You can go for it, James.
Right. Well, back in the late 90s, there was a game on the Nintendo 64 called Pokemon Snap. And now it's coming back on Nintendo Switch. And basically, you end up going around taking pictures of Pokemon. That is the game. And it's coming out on April 30th. And it's called New Pokemon Snap. It's a great name. I've got to give it to him. But yeah, so if you love the original, this looks amazing visually. It's so much better. I mean, I know you're interested, Gareth.
I'm listening to another podcast now at the moment, so this bit's over.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you take pictures of animals. Essentially, Pokemon.
Richard, are you excited as James is about this?
I am. Yeah, I think Pokemon's going to have a big year because it's the 25th anniversary as well of Pokemon itself. So they announced yesterday that they've got a song in collaboration with Katy Perry. So they're going out hard, obviously, based on these two pieces of information.
Oh, we've got something else.
I think there's a compilation of certain Pokemon games coming out as well that's been rumoured as well. But yeah, this Pokemon Snap, I think it was when it originally came out on the N64, it was before photo modes and games were really a thing, which seemed like such an add-on now for games that you forget that Pokemon Snap sort of did it first, or was one of the first. So I think it might have lost its appeal a little bit, but it still looks a really, really fun game.
Is the Pokemon? What's the Pokemon game? Is that what it's called when people hang around parks with their phones?
Pokemon Go.
Oh, that's Pokemon Go.
Someone got fined for in the UK this week.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Did you not see that?
No.
I think he drove 13 miles to catch a specific Pokemon and got fined.
For Pikachu.
Wow. And so is that still quite popular?
Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Pokemon Go. Right. Is that the end of the Pokemon news?
That's all we really know at the moment.
Okay, good. April the 30th, Pokemon Snap. Is that coming out on the Xbox?
It's called New Pokemon Snap.
New.
Is it right?
Is it out on the Xbox or just on Switch?
No, unfortunately.
Ah.
It's the Switch.
Okay. Sad.
You'd love it.
I'd love it.
You'd secretly love it.
I would. I'd love that. Let's talk about two delays that week, because it's going to be delays for a while, I think. This is the effect of COVID. The big first one was the Harry Potter game, which has been delayed now, they've said, till 2022. I think some people will be very upset by that. It looks good. It looks quite interesting, that game. And the other delay was Riders Republic. That just got delayed an hour before we went on the thing, which was the Ubisoft kind of multiplayer, massive player online sports, extreme sports thing, yeah. And that's been delayed till 2021. That's what they said, rather than February.
That's a good decision now. Because with an online game like that, if it releases and it's a mess, no one will go back to it.
Yeah.
Like the Crew.
Yeah.
The Crew had a terrible launch, but it's actually a decent game now.
Mm.
If they had done that, give it a bit more time and made it decent. So that would be good for Riders Republic.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
And they've also got a lot on the plate as well of Ubisoft stuff. So they've got the Prince of Persia remake. Is that next month or two?
Yeah.
Far Cry. Did Far Cry get delayed?
Yeah, we don't know. It hasn't got a date yet, has it?
Right.
Maybe it's May. Maybe it's May. It's been delayed to. Yeah.
And obviously fixing everything they brought out end of last year.
Yeah.
So they are. I mean, I know that they've got thousands of people working in loads of different offices, but you can't help but feel that with things like the stuff that happened to Watch Dogs Legion, they'd sort of be asking other offices for favours. Surely.
I do get a feeling sometimes it feels like only Ubisoft are making games at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anyone else is. I mean, releasing games. It just always seems to be Ubisoft. And which leads us on. Do you like the way I did that? I didn't realise I did.
Well done.
Yeah.
What else?
There was LucasArts, which is released. They've said there's loads of Star Wars games coming out. Basically, we talk about the big teaser they put out in a minute. But one of the big things, they've got Ubisoft working on a new Star Wars game, and from the people looking at all the descriptions of it being the job advertisements, it looks like it's going to be a kind of RPG, big kind of action adventure, almost like an Assassin's Creed, possibly, in the Star Wars world. So what that means is, I think a lot of us thought that EA probably had the exclusive rights to the Star Wars games that they've had Fallen Order and also they've had Battlefront games, but obviously they're opening it out to other developers.
Mm-hmm.
That exciting? Do you think Ubisoft would do a good Star Wars game?
Yeah, because it's by the guys that did The Division as well.
Ah.
But if it's anything like The Division but set in Star Wars universe, then I'm 100% in for that.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, I think it was open world. You want those guys on it. They do a great job.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I know anything that I think. Yeah, I mean this is a long way off, isn't it? It's just been announced, so and they're advertising for people. But yeah, Star Wars game in Ubisoft, and I think they're going to release ideas for loads more Star Wars games in that universe coming out as well. EA have got a few things in there, but there'll probably be another Fallen Order game, won't there? Is it Fallen Order, the Jedi one?
Yes.
Guy from yeah. I think there'd be a sequel to that.
I won't be surprised if they do something to tie into Mandalorian or that kind of setting. That'd be the Bounty Hunter. I think that would work quite well.
What was that Star Wars game that got announced for the last generation of consoles, but then got axed when Disney bought Star Wars? It was something like
13.
Yeah, that had a great look to it, didn't it? I remember seeing
it did.
That was really good. And then the other big reveal by the studio was a new Indiana Jones game by Bethesda Studios. And it was there's a little 30-second teaser trailer, isn't it? Like a little camera going across a map and giving you hints of where things might be. That's got the internet screaming for information and working out the trailer and the teaser. I think it's time for another Indiana Jones game. They were quite a staple, those games, in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Can't you just play Tomb Raider?
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, that's what's happened. Exactly that. Lara Croft took over the mantle, didn't they? Yeah.
That's all it'll be. It's Tomb Raider. I hope.
Yeah, but I think with Tomb Raider and Uncharted, they've both sort of finished now. I mean, Uncharted's finished in the traditional sense, and I believe the Tomb Raider remake trilogy is finished as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's the right time for the OG to come out.
Yeah.
The OG, what's it? Not architect, archaeologist.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good. I think it's and it could be an Xbox exclusive as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd certainly think so.
Yeah. For 2029.
On the next gen console. The next gen.
Yeah. Before we're gonna have a little chat. We'll keep on the Indiana Jones theme in a minute, but let's just cover a last couple of bits of news. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. There's a rumor that's coming out in March, which is a kind of remastered version of Mass Effect. Have you played Mass Effect? You two, all of them? No, James. This is your chance to play all the Mass Effect.
I played Mass Effect 2 for 15 minutes.
Well, you can do the whole lot and report back to us in March. That's you done. Did you play Richard?
Yeah,
I played 1 and 2, and I never played the third one, so I'm going to be picking this up to finally finish it off.
Yeah, so it could be. I mean, I remember the first one and the second one just looking great. Some of those worlds. It'd be great to see what if they've done a complete remaster with just a little extra shine. Apparently, the rumor is that they haven't done much to the first one at all. So,
I'd heard different.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I'd heard that because it was originally supposed to be coming out on 7th of November, which is N7 Day unofficially. But it got postponed till the 12th of March, I believe, the day is, because they've gone back and sort of redone the first game, basically.
Okay.
Second and third have received like a bit of a touch-up, but the first game, they've really gone back and changed some things to make it more in line with the second and the third.
So they've done almost like a Mafia type thing, remastered on the first one. Yeah, okay, right. Oh, good. Oh, that'd be good, because it did need it.
Yeah, yeah. And them elevator sections.
Oh, wow, yeah. I don't think I'm not going to go back to them again. But I think other people who haven't played it have good fun with that. James.
I've got enough to play. I'm just not going to play any of it.
Last bit of news very quickly. Cyberpunk 2077. It keeps the story that keeps going on and on. There's a roadmap. Their commitment roadmap is what does that say? What's that big? What is their commitment?
They're going to fix it this year.
Lots of patches,
okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's such a strange event, this, because there's so many people who have different experiences still with that game. People I spoke to on the Xbox Series X have had lots of bugs, and I had a charmed existence. I was very lucky with it. But the new updated version for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, they're talking about it being in the latter half of 2021.
Yep.
Yeah.
So people are waiting. It'll be then, which will be good. A bit more shinier, probably.
When another big games come out.
No, that could be it. Yeah.
We'll bring that number 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this is a little chat about, because it's quite, we haven't got as much news as possible, but I was thinking about the Indiana Jones release and the Star Wars thing, and thinking about movie game franchise. So you've got a movie game and you've got a film, and they generally got made into games. So in the 80s, this started off where in the Atari years of 82, you'd have a franchise like the famous E.T. There's a great documentary about that. One of the Atari's best designers had to make the E.T. game for Atari in something like 8 weeks before Christmas. 8 weeks to get it in the shops. And it was a disaster, of course, and it's the game that sunk Atari, because it just didn't really work very well. But having games off movies then was a massive kind of, that's how you sold your game. And I probably think that's pretty much it. I think that market of like, you make a game and then you see a film and then you have the game on it and you're going to make money, that probably went into the 80s and 90s. Do you think that's fair, you two?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I remember on a ZX Spectrum playing a Ghostbusters game that I loved. And I don't think it was that good. But I could hold a stream up in the air and drive around in the eco car on a top-down board, and I thought that was enough for me. Maybe my 16-year-old self.
I think there was a Home Alone game as well.
Really?
On one of the old consoles. I vaguely remember playing something like that.
It had a 2D side-scrolling one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I remember that one as well.
It wasn't very good though.
They never were.
Again. No, because you always get rushed out.
But there was loads of them, wasn't there? So I always remember when you had sort of Sega and the SNES and all that era, you just seemed to be, you could go to a sort of like a video store.
Terminator.
And you could just see loads of games. Most of them half of them were kind of like films that just come out. And when did that stop, do you think? When do you think that did stop? Did it stop in the 2000s? Did games become bigger than the films in the sense of the names of games?
So I remember 2010, I think it was, or 2009, that Toy Story 3 came out. And that had a video game associated with it that was actually quite good. So when Toy Story 4 got announced, I was like, oh, maybe we'll get another Toy Story game. But I think what changed was because a lot of films, especially Disney films, got tie-in games, but they were always sort of put on a mobile device instead.
Yeah,
right, okay.
So I had the free-to-play design around them, which I guess makes them more accessible for kids to then play and sort of advertise the film at the same time without as much effort in as a full console released it. So I think that's maybe what killed it off a little bit.
Talking about those Disney games, there was a time in the 90s, wasn't there, when SNES had, and Sega probably had The Lion King. I remember that was a platformer. Aladdin, yeah. And they were all right, weren't they? I remember them being okay.
Aladdin was fun.
Yeah.
You bounce off the canopies and then swing the sword.
That's right.
It's like Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
In some ways.
I could never get past the second level of The Lion King.
They were always my card, weren't they?
What's the song? I just can't wait to be king. And there's a bit where you're on top of the ostrich's head. And we've got it now for the PS4 because they did a collection last year or the year before of Aladdin and the Lion King. And we've got it, and I'm still absolutely terrible at that game. I don't know anyone that's ever got to the Stampede level. I always remember seeing it on the back of the box and be like, oh, yeah, that looks really good. We can never get to it.
Is it fair to say, like, this is really an interesting thing about it, with the Batman games, so from the sort of 80s, the Batman games were generally tied into the films, weren't they? I mean, the Tim Burton films, 89, 92, 95.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say they weren't very good? This is my memory of them.
I think the best of them was Batman Forever. And that was on the Mega Drive. It's better than the film anyway. But yeah, it was just run around, punch a bad guy, move on. Yeah. It was all quite basic.
And I think that's probably a good example of a game that suddenly, when the Batman Rocksteady game came out, the Arkham Asylum, which is 2008 or something like that, that's when it was a really interesting moment because it wasn't on the back of a film. It wasn't on the back of Batman Begins or anything like that. It was its own thing in its own right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With good performances from the actors and Mark Hamill being the Joker and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it had no constraints. It could do whatever it wanted to, really. Whereas the film games, you've got to stick to the script.
Yeah.
And kind of build a game around it, which is quite difficult.
So,
which happened a lot with it.
Sorry, go on. Say yeah.
I'm going to say it happened a lot with the Marvel games. Iron Man, they had a movie game. Green Lantern, the DC, had a game. That wasn't great. Thor, Incredible Hulk. It was like mid to late 2000s. There was loads of games like that.
Now I'm going to push you two for one each at the moment. A good game that influenced by the film to game.
I'll give you that. can't think of one.
Richard, you must have one.
I've already mentioned the Toy Story one, so I'll mention SpiderMan 2 on the PS2.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was like the precursor to Spider-Man on the PS4, essentially. Open world, New York. It was really good.
And did that follow the film? Because it was Doc Ock in that one, wasn't it?
Sort of. I mean, I think they'd fleshed it out a bit more to a game by including most of the other Spider-Man baddies. So I remember there being, I think Electro was in it, and Mysterio was definitely in it before he'd appeared in any of the films.
That's right.
But they had the three main voice actors as well. So they had Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and James Franco all doing the voices.
That's right. Yeah.
As well.
That always helps.
That's good. Good choice. James, what about you?
Jeepers. Okay, the one quite tell me. Maybe Lego movie. A Lego movie game. That was quite good fun.
Can you have a Lego movie game? Yeah, you can have a Lego movie
having
game.
it.
Yeah, having
Is
it.
it with
Good.
that or Hannah Montana the movie? Which one you want?
I'll go with the Lego. Yeah.
Cool.
That's coming out soon, isn't it? The Star Wars one. That'll be out soon. The Skywalker on Lego one. Yeah. I'm going to say, of course, there's one that I'm going to say that I think we should all guess is the GoldenEye game. It's probably one of the best. Yeah, it's one of the best ones.
Word, that was my favourite.
Yeah, that was a really amazing kind of like, that really worked. Had Pierce Brosnan as well. But I'm going to mention another one that, if you might remember from the same era, I thought was incredible, which was the Die Hard trilogy. Do you remember this?
I had the gun.
Yes.
The game.
So for people who don't know, the Die Hard trilogy, it was all three Die Hard films placed into one, but each Die Hard film had a different way of playing. So the first one, it was almost like there was a game called Siphon Filter that came out on the PS1. It was almost like a third-person action adventure when you're going through the Die Hard skyscraper, and you're sort of going from top to bottom, aren't you? You're killing people as you go along, and you're hiding behind things, and you're like an action adventure. The second game was like it was using the gun, wasn't it? It was a light gun that you could shoot, like those time attack games. And the third one was like a driving, like a crazy taxi game, wasn't it?
It was terrible.
That bit was terrible. Yeah. But as a 3, it was really great, wasn't it? I remember really liking that game. So that's my one. You got Die Hard. What was your ones, James? Lego.
Maybe.
And Richard Spider-Man 2.
I'm really going to GoldenEye, actually.
Okay, GoldenEye, that's good.
It's
good. Lovely. Brilliant. Good. We'll figure it out. And if you've got one, please just leave a comment on Twitter or on YouTube. Let us know what your favourite film to game was, if any.
Or the worst.
Or the worst,
Yeah, let's hear about all of them.
Harder to find one.
Yeah. What are we looking forward to next week? 15th to the 22nd? James? Football. Good. Who's playing?
Man United versus Liverpool.
Good.
Top of the table encounter.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time in probably a decade. Maybe less.
All right.
2 big boys.
All right.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Good. Yeah, I know you are.
I can't wait.
That's on Sunday. Good. Richard, what about you?
I'm looking forward to becoming an uncle again.
Congratulations.
So my sister is pregnant and due any time now. Obviously, we're not going to be able to see Elsie. Her name's going to be Elsie.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to see Elsie for the foreseeable future. But yeah, still looking forward to that.
Well, congratulations, Richard. Do you know I'm a great uncle? About 4 times over.
Are you?
Yeah. Great Uncle Gareth.
No.
I thought you were congratulating yourself.
No, I'm a terrible uncle. But I'm a great uncle officially. And I'm looking forward to Hitman. I think it's coming out next week on the 20th. And that'd be quite fun. I'm quite looking forward to playing another different that game again, even though I probably won't play it for that long. But that's out next week. And also, we're doing a giveaway. We're doing a little giveaway from today is when you're hearing the chat. So Friday the 15th to Monday the 18th. we've got 5 little special packs for the game Spellbreak. And this is a kind of like battle royale game using lore and story-based quests. And we've got what have we got? It's like a chapter pass, isn't it? Which includes 13,500 game gold. There's a warlock outfit, some spell slinger outfit, and a badge. You know, which would mean a lot more to you than it does to me. Does it mean anything to you too?
No.
But I think it's done well there.
But people will love this. We know this already, James. What about remember the unicorn mount we gave away, and it was like you had text
messages now. Begging, have you got any left, please?
Yeah. So we've only got 5 of these, haven't we? So you've got to get in first, and all you've got to do is check Twitter, follow, and retweet on the Xbox Hub Twitter feed. Yeah. If you're interested in Spellbreak, do that. And details are in the what's it called? The description. That's it, gentlemen. As always, been a pleasure. Where can I find you, James?
On Twitter and Instagram at @LKGKR.
Great. Richard, what about you?
I am on Twitter at 001912.
And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch, GB Briny. But until next time, have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at the Xbox Hub, and search for the Xbox Hub on Facebook.